Hi everyone, I'm Barbara from Fairies in My Pond, and let's get started with the ball jointed doll. Now I've decided to start all over again. Now you have seen my tutorial on this head and you've seen a little bit of this one. Now I went ahead and I was playing around with another body because when I do ball jointed, I don't just get right into it and do it. I like to play around with it, get the feel of it, because a lot of times with ball jointed dolls, for me, I have a tendency to make some mistakes, and by just it's kind of like a warm-up, and it gives me an idea of what it is that I want. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that these are the bodies that I've been playing around with, and see how nice and thin that is? And that's from the wax. I love doing it with the wax. Just love it. And there. Now on this particular one, if I were going to turn this into a ball jointed, I would do differently with the neck. Okay, but I wanted to show you those. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the core to the head. And right. So I have my mold for my core. Now, I want to explain this too, is that if you don't have a mold, you can take the wax and carve it into a ball. It's just, I don't know, I just find that the head is, I like to pour it. The rest of the body, I like to carve it. Okay. I already have my wax in my melting pot, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to pour this without burning myself. So you have to be really careful with that. Okay, I have my stick that I will be putting inside of the mold and the wax. So let's see if I can do this, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to bring the camera down. Okay. All right. And see, and I have a little tear in that, so I've got to really watch that. And just go slow. Okay. Now see, now it's pouring out, and I'm just going to let that set. Okay, oops, let me try it again. Okay, let it set. And I want to fill it all the way up to the top. I'm going to let it set. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Turn my pot off. Now, what I do at this point, because the wax is too warm, I'll wait for that just to set up just a little bit. And then I will go ahead and I'll put my stick in and stick it in the freezer. I find that by putting it in the freezer, it is so much better than to let it set out, because sometimes the stick will, if I'm not watching it, it'll shift, and I don't want that. I want the stick to be pretty straight, because that is going to be my handle, and I want it not to be crooked. And it looks like I might need, no, okay. Okay, I'm going to go stick it in the freezer. Okay, I just pulled it out of the freezer, and I'm just going to take off some of this wax. And I'm going to find my opening. And I'm just going to pull it out. There I have it. Okay. I have my ball wax, and I've noticed that I have like a little flat spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably use that for the back of the head. So if you have a spot on it that, you know, it's not perfectly round, decide on, you know, if you want to use it for the front or the back. And I feel like I want to use it for the back, but see, it's close down where the neck would be, so I'm okay. All right, now I'm going to be using Fimo polymer clay. And now here's the thing that I want to share with you, is that it's really important that you guys have a template of some sort with ball jointed, and really not just with ball jointed, with anything. Okay, now I've just gone ahead and I've just drawn out a head, but this is the part that I want to explain to you, is that and this was something that I had to figure out for myself, and when I caught it, then I stopped making a stage to where I had to go back in and correct it. And this is my halfway mark. Now, I'm planning on making the neck to where the neck is going to actually be on the torso. Okay, now my ball, this is the part that I really want to show you. And remember, this is my way. I'm not saying that this is the correct way. Okay, my ball is like here. Now, what I found for myself is that the ball is on the other side of my halfway mark. Now, when I say on the other side, it's a little bit over that halfway mark, but most of that ball is to the back of the head. And what I found with that is when I paid attention to that, then I had more of a jawline. Okay? Now then, I'm going to get into this in my next tutorial. Take your clay, you want to make sure it's really conditioned, and you guys already know when it's conditioned, you don't have all those little cracks at the edge. That's, you know, it's a way to know. And I don't want it real thick, and I don't want it real thin. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place it over, and I'm starting with the front of the face, and I'm bringing it over to the back. And I do not have any problem with this clay sticking to this wax. But the one thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that as I'm putting that clay on, I'm pressing down for any kind of air pockets. That is really important. Now all I want to do is cover that ball, and I'm going to keep the shape of that. Let me take this, whoops. Now sometimes that'll happen, don't worry about it, because you can just stick it right back in. I mean, spend time on this part. You know, a lot of times people think that this isn't important, but my opinion on this, I think that getting your foundation is very important, so spend time on it. I'm already getting little pieces of dirt. Okay, now you see how I'm still spending time pressing and making sure that that is really on there. And when you do it, not real a thick piece of clay, I can feel my wax, and I mean I can feel if there's an air pocket. Because if you get an air pocket, you go and cook it, it's going to crack. And then if you have, you know, just a little tiny air pocket on top, what can happen is it not necessarily crack down your face, but you can get a white moonie. That's what they call them, white moonies. But I don't know why. They're just white marks. Okay, now I want to show you that that is how I would do that. That would be my first layer. Now, to be honest with you, I don't even remember which was the front or the back, so it really doesn't matter. But if that would matter to you, put a little mark on your stick, and then you'll know. Okay, now I would take that, and my stick is going to be right on that halfway mark right here. So you see how much clay I'm going to have to add? Now then, in my next tutorial, I am going to show you how I see the head as an egg, but there's one thing that I see a lot of when people are beginning. When they do an egg, they always miss the jawline. And I'm going to show you my way of seeing how you're going to see the egg in so many different directions of this ball. So I'll see you in my next tutorial.